Welcome to the world of W.E.Kiwi, where friends come in all sizes, shapes and species. So here's our new story. W.E.Kiwi meets Pichu and Pachu. The sun was getting high in the sky, and W.E.Kiwi was finding it too hot to stay in the garden. He'd just planted a new orange tree and trimmed his roses. There was a lot more to do, but W.E. knew he shouldn't be out in the hot sun. He went inside and took off his hat. Sweat dripped down his beak as he drank a large glass of water. It was nice to be inside, out of the heat for a moment. He would wait till the evening to finish off gardening, maybe planting some more fruit trees. W.E. sat on his couch in the living room. He breathed in and out, trying to cool down. The couch seemed a lot more comfortable today. Taking a cushion, he placed it under his head as he lay down. It had been a very productive day thus far. W.E. deserved a little nap, and then a nap, just a quick one. The living room curtains danced with a breeze coming through the window. W.E. breathed in and out, relaxing more with every breath. As he watched the curtains, he drifted off. A nap takes a little longer than his nightly sleep procedure, but it was still less than a minute. W.E. could hear some music playing in the distance. He felt as though he was dancing like the curtains. The music was getting louder, and his body swayed more. Soft pink curtains started to appear around him. They brushed up against his side. He appeared to be floating endlessly. They would spin him in a circle, then push him off in a different direction. Between his toes, he began to feel grass. He looked down, and blue grass swayed in the breeze at his feet. The curtains started to shorten, and you could see they were hanging from a massive tree. The tree was twisted to the sky with enormous branches from where the curtains fell from. The curtains hung down from the branches, like long leaves. Then, out of nowhere, a voice called out, "That was fun, wasn't it?" Then another, "I think he enjoyed it." "I did, but where am I?" W.E. wondered. There was silence. Then the breeze got stronger and the music started to play again. The two voices came back. "You can go wherever you want to go. With your imagination, or are you already there?" "Yes, are you already here?" This was confusing for W.E. Am I there, or am I here? W.E. stepped forward and felt the curtains rub against his face. He thought he was happy enough where he was, but what else could be out there? "Where else could I go? It seems pretty nice here," W.E. called out. Just then, there was a knocking. He could hear it coming from the bottom of the tree. He pushed the curtains aside and moved closer. The knock came back. At the bottom of the tree was a small door. There was no way he could fit through it, so maybe it was for a mouse. "Are you coming to meet us? Are you our new friend? Knock on the door." W.E. wasn't sure what to do. Maybe if he knocks on the door, someone might answer. He knelt down and knocked on the door. The door grew bigger and bigger and then stopped. It was now exactly the same size as him. He could fit through it if it was to open. Just to see what might happen if he knocked again, he put his wing up. But as soon as he did, a key came flying over his shoulder and into the lock. It wiggled, then turned. The door creaked open. W.E. couldn't see anything inside, as it was pitch black. "Knock again." "Yes, friend, do knock." W.E. didn't want to argue, so knocked on the door again. Lights came on inside. They led down a spiral staircase into the roots of the tree. W.E. was a little afraid, as he couldn't see where the stairs would lead him to. "So where does this go to?" W.E. called out. "To the most wonderful place, where you can meet Pichu and also meet Pachu." W.E. took a step forward and looked down the stairs. There was a faint light at the bottom, so maybe that was Pichu and Pachu's home. He walked through the door and down the stairs. As he went down, the light at the bottom got stronger and stronger. When he reached the bottom, there was nothing but an empty space. Neither Pichu nor Pachu were there. The breeze came back and the curtains fell around him. W.E. didn't know what might be behind them. Maybe it could be a music room. So look behind the curtains. See what you will find. He stepped forward and pulled back two of the curtains, and there was a music room. It had drums, a piano, guitars and a golden harp. W.E. wanted to try everything, but since they weren't his, he should ask for permission. Can I have a try, please? Please try anything you want. They are there for you to enjoy. W went over to the drums and had a go. It was amazing. He just picked up the drumsticks and was able to play. He then tried the harp. He was having the best time ever. Why not try the guitar? He could have stayed there for hours, but wondered what else could be behind the curtains. What else is there? And can I meet you, Pichu and Pachu? Pichu and Pachu giggled. Where else could you go to meet us? What are your favorite places? W.E. thought for a moment. He loved the park by his house, where he would often go to sit by the lake. Before he could say anything, curtains covered his face. He pushed them aside again, and there he was, at the park. It looked very much like his park, but with a merry-go-round in the centre. On the merry-go-round were horses going up and down. On two of the horses, he could see two creatures waving to him. He walked closer, and as he did, the merry-go-round stopped. The two creatures jumped off their horses and came up to W.E. Good day, little friend. I am Pichu, and I am his brother, Pachu. Pichu and Pachu were identical twins. They looked like orange teddy bears, but with oversized feet and the biggest ears W.E. had ever seen. Their ears were so long they drooped all the way to the ground. On top of their heads was a bundle of white hair. Pichu had on a red necktie and Pachu had on a blue one. Both had green and white tartan shorts. They were held up with yellow suspenders. Pleased to meet you, Pichu and Pachu. I'm W.E.Kiwi, but my friends just call me W.E. Well, W.E., pleased to meet you. Thank you for the park. We added in the merry-go-round. We both love to go round and round on one. Yes, they are fantastic. Shall we have a go together, Pichu and Pachu? Pichu and Pachu didn't need any encouragement. They ran onto the merry-go-round and each jumped on a horse. W.E. followed, and as soon as he jumped on his horse, the merry-go-round started. A huge grin came over all of their faces. Round and round they went. W.E. could stay there all day. He closed his eyes and the music rang louder in his ears. The music slowly stopped and he opened his eyes. Pichu and Pachu were standing next to him. So let's go down to the lake, W.E. We like to watch the swans float in the water. The three of them walked down to the lake and sat by the water's edge. W.E. put his feet in and called out, Zizzle bazizzle. Pichu and Pachu looked at W.E. as they had no idea what a zizzle bazizzle was. Needless to say, There weren't any Zizzle Bazizzles at the lake. A swan swam past with his babies following. They all glided along in the water. There was a sudden pop, and out from the centre of the lake came a fountain. This lake was tranquil and calming. W.E. looked around to see if any more friends might be joining them. So are you looking for new adventures, W.E.? You are not happy here? No, Pichu and Pachu. I just wondered where I am, and why did I come here? I seem to be going to a lot of fantastic places lately. You are here, in your imagination. We are here to help open the doors of your imagination. You have a large brain between your ears, and it can go to wonderful places. Make up anything you like. Find out what makes you blissfully happy. W.E. smiled and thought of sailing on the ocean. Just then a small sailboat went past on the lake. He then thought of the summer rain, and before he could finish thinking about it, a rainbow appeared. I see what you mean, Pichu and Pachu. I must imagine more. Maybe my imagination could turn into reality. Things might happen. That's the idea, W.E. Sometimes imagination turns into dreams, and dreams turn into reality. The dreams become real. W.E. stood up and flapped his wings. Well, maybe a kiwi bird could fly. Pichu and Pachu both laughed at W.E. as they knew kiwi birds can't fly. You can fly in other ways, W.E. Maybe a hot air balloon or a glider. Sometimes you can just imagine. It might not become real, but then you have a dream to hold on to. W.E. sat back down. He looked at Pichu and Pachu, and they looked different. He couldn't exactly tell what had changed. Was it their neckties? No, they were still red and blue. Their suspenders were still yellow, and their shorts still green and white tartan. What was it? Pichu and Pachu both turned and grinned at W.E. Were they hiding something? So then, little friend, why so curious? W.E. didn't want to be rude, but something had changed in their appearance. Pichu and Pachu couldn't hold it in any longer and stood up. Now their ears were even longer and they fell over their feet. W.E. wondered what had happened. Well, when you use your brain, things might grow. For us, every time we imagine something, our ears grow. W.E. felt his ears just in case they'd grown too. He'd been imagining many things. Don't worry, it doesn't happen to you, W.E. It only happens to Pichu and Pachu, as we are Imagine-Huns. Oh wow, you are the first Imagine-Huns I have ever met. Pichu and Pachu picked up their ears in either hands. W.E. followed them back past the merry-go-round to a wooden table. On the table were pens and paper. Take a pen and paper, W.E. We are going to write down some of our dreams. W.E. took a pen and paper and started writing. He looked over to Pichu and Pachu, and you could see their ears growing even more. This got him wondering. Pichu and Pachu, I don't want to appear rude, but I have a question about your ears. Pichu and Pachu stopped writing and put down their pens. They looked at each other and they waved their ears at W.E. I think we know what you are going to ask. How long do our ears grow? Yes, if you keep imagining, then your ears could grow on forever. Pichu went to one side of W.E. and Pachu to the other. They lay their ears out in front of him on the table. They each put one paw on W.E.'s shoulder and closed their eyes. W.E. watched as both of their ears grew longer on the table. They opened their eyes and their ears stopped growing. So what were you imagining about, Pichu and Pachu? Pichu and Pachu looked at each other. Sometimes it's a secret. Only you need to know. W.E. nodded as he understood. But I know you are still wondering about the ears. They are our best kept secret. The Imagine-Huns' ears grow longer from the power of imagination inside our heads. But every night, our ears go back to the normal size as we sleep. Then we start all over again. Every day is a new day. W.E. showed his ears to Pichu and Pachu. Well, mine haven't grown. So maybe I need to imagine more, like an imagine hund. Or is this a start of a new day? And they have started back from the beginning. Pichu and Pachu took a long piece of paper and placed it in front of W.E. Now start writing down some of your dreams. See where it can take you. W.E. thought long and hard, then started writing. He was dreaming about the new garden he would have. Next, he could go down to the park and ask the park ranger if he could put a fountain in the lake. What if he could turn his spare room into a music room? Close your eyes, W.E. Imagine if you can see your dreams now. W.E. closed his eyes. In his imagination, he saw a lake, swans and ducks, and a fountain. He imagined harder and was in his house. The spare room was now his music room. Oh, a drum set, a 12-string guitar, and an electric piano. The window in his music room was open. It had curtains dancing in the breeze. They grew longer and longer, just like Pichu and Pachu's ears. The curtains started brushing against his face. He was back floating between them. There were many more questions he had for the Imaginons, but they were gone. What if his dreams don't come true? Then does he wish for new ones? Is there anything too big or too small he could dream about? He could hear the merry-go-round. Maybe that was a new dream, to have his very own merry-go-round. The merry-go-round sounded close by, so he opened his eyes to see where it was. He looked up and could see the living room ceiling. He was on the couch still. The evening breeze was strong, and the curtains were blowing in his face. It had cooled down, and the sun wasn't so intense anymore. From outside on the street were the sounds of the merry-go-round. He leapt up to see where the music was coming from. Down the street was an ice cream truck. Many of his friends were ordering ice creams, as it had been such a hot day. He had some coins in his pockets, so went down to the ice cream truck. When he got to the ice cream truck window, he closed his eyes and imagined. Can I please have a tub, and in it 1 scoop of chocolate, 1 scoop of blueberry, and 1 scoop of mint chocolate chip? He took his tub of ice cream and mixed in all the flavours. As it was so warm still, the flavours easily melted together. He walked home imagining different things. When he opened the front door, he saw the spare room door ajar. He went in and sat on an old chair his father had given him, imagining how he could make a new music room. Put up his favourite singers' posters, a piano on one side and drums on the other. All he had was a guitar and a tambourine, but it was a start. That night, W.E. sat in bed with a pen and paper. With a little imagination, W.E. began writing furiously. He wrote down all of his ideas and the dreams he had. With some hard work, some of his dreams may come true. Today had been an inspiration to try and turn his dreams into reality. He finished for the night and put his pen and paper down by the bed. He waved goodnight to Colin and switched off the light. Before he fell asleep, he thought it had been a great day. He was now motivated to imagine more about his dreams. There was only one thing he hoped didn't happen. His ears started growing longer every day like an imagine hund. The end. Thanks for listening. Maybe you write down all your dreams and see if they turn into reality. And see where your imagination can lead you. Stay tuned for more stories. Thanks, Pichu. Thanks, Pachu. Yes. I've just got to prepare for the next story. It's the last one of our series. Oh, but there's another one we're going to be doing. It's a big one, it's a long one. I better get prepared for that as well. Turning off in 5, 4, 3, 2...